What's up, friends and wrestling fans? It's Captain Solomon here again, and I'm going to be reviewing Raw and SmackDown for the dates of February 5th and February 6th. Now, before I go any further, figure I'd cover the elephant in the room. Got this lovely band-aid on my face here, and I'm sure you're wondering what's going on there. Is it some sort of fashion statement? Do I think I'm like some sort of knockoff Nelly from back in the day? No, none of that. Long story short, my cat no-sold some playtime. He's a no-sell, and he decided to scratch me in the face. So I was bleeding, and I didn't want to bleed on camera. So, with that being said, let's get into what we're here to talk about, and we'll start with Raw. So Raw kicked off with not one, but two promos where they looked directly at the camera. Not that weird found footage stuff that they've been doing lately. One promo from Bray Wyatt, one from Roman Reigns. I'm pretty sure this means that hell is frozen over, that the apocalypse is upon us, and the devil is going to come to take our souls. Anyway, love the fact that we opened like this. I was getting bored, as I've said before, of Kurt Angle and Stephanie McMahon telling us how things went the week before and telling us what to expect for the night. Leads into the first of two Elimination Chamber placement matches this evening. Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt. Very good match. It's good to see Bray actually getting some in-ring distance, if you will. He's actually like going longer than 5 minutes. He's actually doing something interesting. I guess that's not the exact words I want to use, but we'll roll with it. I said it. So I was expecting the Matt Hardy interference the whole time. They eventually cut back to the woken Matt Hardy sitting and watching a TV in the proper position. I'm so used to the weird cocked side angle TVs that no normal human being would be able to really watch comfortably. Yeah, so the match ends without any interference. Roman Reigns hits a spear on Bray Wyatt. No one's been able to kick out of the spear. That's part of the build-up for them to go against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Nobody's been kicking out of the F5. It's only taken one. It only takes one spear, and that's going to be, part of the story, I think, is that both men's finishers will be kicked out of at WrestleMania. But yeah, Roman Reigns wins. He gets a spot in the Elimination Chamber. After that, Broken Matt Hardy shows up, the delete chants start, he hits Bray Wyatt with the Twist of Fate, and no, that's about it. I'm waiting to see where they're going to go with that whole feud. Maybe it's finally going to pay off. After that, we get Jason Jordan in the back stretching out. This is when Seth Rollins shows up, his tag team partner of late. And, he's talking to him and he's like, hey, I need you to be 100% out there. This is our last chance at the tag team titles, revealing that Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan would be going against the Bar for the tag titles tonight. Jason Jordan, reassures him. He says, no, listen, I'm feeling fine. He's all right. He's going to do this and they're going to pull it off. That his injury isn't a big deal. He's fine. I'm waiting, they say also in here that he's been medically cleared, and at this point in the night was when I was already going, okay, I know for a fact, based on rumors, the stories going around, that Jason Jordan actually it's been so bad that he hasn't had, he was losing grip. So I knew that this was a work, this was going to build up to something, and it would pay off later in the night, and we'll get back to that once we get there. But then after that, it leads us to a match out in the ring. We've got, apparently, I believe Finn Balor was supposed to face one of the two members of the Revival, but they come out and they mention how they're tag team specialists, so they would rather him pick one of the two members of, his little group and team up to go against them. Balor Club was obviously going to answer this. Carl Anderson is the one that ends up getting the call up for this match. It was a decent enough match, but the tag team specialists of Revival end up losing to these two, and I don't know, I just don't feel that looks good for them. I just don't think it was a good call. I think the Revival should be winning matches and should be moving up the chain, but WWE must see it differently. Now it's time for our Cruiserweight segment of the night, as we get Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali going in a tag match against Drew Gulak and Tony Nese. Now, the match itself was really good. I think it was a little overshadowed, in my opinion, by how perfect the salesmanship of Drake Maverick, as they have told us again and again now. Rockstar Spud. I'm very confused why they're using this branding. The one time they're remembering something outside of WWE is Rockstar Spud for some reason. Anyway, he does very good at shipping 205 Live on the WWE Network and selling it. There was also a very rough bump. Cedric Alexander got taken off the top rope. Got knocked down to the canvas with a lariat or something, if I remember correctly. But he fell on his shoulder, and it just I thought he was gonna tear something. Like, he was probably an inch away from like serious injury. Cruiserweights always doing stuff like that. You guys gotta be careful. We have a lot of stars already injured. We don't need more. The match ends with Cedric Alexander hitting Drew Gulak with the lumbar check, picking up the win for his team. And again, another good showing from the Cruiserweights, but the crowd never too into it. Then we have Kurt Angle coming down to the ring to announce the entrance in the Elimination Chamber. He almost forgets the Elimination Chamber. He announces the entrance that will be going against Alexa Bliss for her women's title. The names in that match are Bayley, Mandy Rose, Mickie James, Sonya Deville, and Sasha Banks. Nia being stingingly absent. We also get told that Nia will be going one-on-one against Asuka, and if she can beat Asuka at the pay-per-view, she will be added to the match for the title at WrestleMania. I heard rumors that Nia was going to be going against Bliss for the title, so I'm a little curious where this is leading. I don't know if they'll let Nia be the one to beat Asuka. I don't think they will, but, I mean, stranger things have happened in WWE, in all honesty. So after that, we get Alexa Bliss coming down to the ring, and she accuses Kurt of being outright sexist, because why should she have to defend her title in the Elimination Chamber if Brock isn't having to defend his? If men and women are supposed to be treated equally on Raw and in the WWE, then why is this happening? And Kurt, well, his answer doesn't make sense, because his answer is, well, you haven't defended your title since October, which is true, and it's been stingingly, like, something that's been bugging me is that, like, Alexa Bliss has not had much in-ring time. I don't know if she's injured or what have you, but she hasn't really been doing much in the ring. But she then points out very specifically, I don't make the matches, Kurt. You make the matches. That's your fault. Very accurate statement. This doesn't end up paying off into anything. I think it was just, like, supposed to be, like, Alexa Bliss trying to get out of it was the whole idea. But I mean, I feel bad because, like, I feel like she should have gotten out of it. Like I want to see her defend it in the cell as well. I think it'll be a good match. But more importantly, like, that I really thought she was going to get out of it. Like, her logic was sound. Kurt, you had no argument. Then after that, we get John Cena in the back doing one of those, like I said, found footage promos where he's talking about how the main event for tonight is himself versus Elias versus Braun Strowman. The winner is going to be the last man out of their pod in the Elimination Chamber match. So he goes on talking about how he has to win that. Nothing important to say here. I just didn't mind it. It's just, I liked him pacing forward and then backing up and then going forward again because he had a lot to say and not enough room in the hallway to do it. So that was an interesting little segment there. So then next we get Asuka versus Bayley. I also forgot to mention earlier in the night, there was a segment backstage where Sasha and Bayley were talking about how Sasha has been watching the video of her loss to Asuka over and over again, and how, like, she needed to get past that, and Sasha said she can't allow herself to get past that, and there was this whole back and forth about, like, what makes Bayley good enough to beat Asuka. She reminded Sasha that she's beaten her, and if she's good enough to beat her, then she's good enough to beat Asuka, because if Sasha's good enough to beat Asuka, then why isn't Bayley? So we get to the match, and again, another amazing match for these women. Asuka, puts on a good show anytime she's in the ring. I thought this match with Bayley was on par, just as good as the match we had the week prior with Asuka and Sasha Banks. Only this one didn't rely on women looking like they were going to kill each other with the spots that they were pulling. It was just a well-told story in the ring. Eventually, Bayley does tap out to an armbar, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with everything that happened. I'm waiting to see if we get more of a heel Sasha coming out of this. I don't think Bayley will go heel. They'll never pull a trigger on something like that. So I'm waiting to see if Sasha goes back to more of her heel personality that she's had in the past. And then after that, we got Cruz versus Apollo Crews from Titus Worldwide going against The Miz. It's a chamber qualifying match. It's very weird that the Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, is going to be in Chamber qualifier match, but that's fine. We'll let it go. He cuts a promo. Again, Miz cuts great promos. I liked where he mimicked Paul Heyman, even though he got the words kind of in the wrong order. That's fine, whatever. He also mentioned that the Eagles head coach showed his last match to motivate the Eagles to win at the Super Bowl. That's little stuff like that is just really well done. I enjoyed that. And then after that, surprisingly, like if you would have told me months ago that Apollo Crews, was going to start putting on good work in the ring, I would have told you you're crazy. I thought he had, pretty much reached kind of like the pinnacle of where he was going to be. But for some reason, this whole Titus Worldwide thing, it's seeming to be better for kind of everyone involved in it. It's like they finally got something that's slowly starting to go over. They seem to be having more fun with it. And I think that's maybe just what they needed to see them not flounder at the bottom of the chart. So we'll see what happens with them. However, The Miz does end up winning off a skull-crushing finale. It was a clean win, if I remember correctly. So it was just a good match overall, though. I was not disappointed. And now, hopefully we could see more from Apollo Crews in the future. Yes, then after that, we get that whole little segment where Seth Rollins and Kurt and Jason Jordan informs Seth that he's not allowed to compete. The doctors aren't letting him. He felt something felt off in his neck while he was doing stretches, and that when he went to the doctors, they told him he could not compete tonight. Kurt tells Seth that the only option he has is to forfeit the match because he doesn't have a partner. And then in walks the big dog, Roman Reigns. The crowd not exactly the happiest about it. It was kind of a mixed response. Apparently it's going to be Seth and Roman going against the Bar for the titles. The match itself was honestly pretty good. There was a lot of awesome spots. It was a very good match. It ends up... eventually we get Jason Jordan coming down, trying to help his team out. He's going to help them out and everything like that. And he's like, he got, their attention or whatever. Roman's not happy about it. But it leads to the Bar eventually grab their titles and we are just going to leave because even if we're counted out, whatever, we keep the titles. So they were just going to take the L and just walk away. So they go to leave and Jason Jordan tries to stop them. The Bar swings at Jordan. Jordan retaliates. This gets Seth and Roman eliminated, much to the disappointment of everyone involved, apparently. It was the best way for this to end, so that way, you still make the challengers look strong. I'm not sure where it's going to go after that, but yeah, this also ended up leading to a promo in the back where Seth was just infuriated. Even called him, I think he called him a son of a bitch on live camera, which, God, gotta be careful with those swears, Sethy boy, be careful. But yeah, no, it leads to Kurt looking at Jason Jordan going, maybe you should go home until you're fully recovered and then come back. Jason Jordan tries to kind of plead his case, and Kurt just gets mad and tells him to go home. You're grounded. Grounded his son. Good parenting skills, Kurt Angle. You did good. So yeah, that's the way that whole segment ended. And then in what I consider an actual strong booking decision, they give Nia Jax a jobber. They feed her a jobber. This girl is the name Vanessa Ford. She's only 17. Fun fact. I looked it up. I found the info. She is 17 years old. That is not the youngest competitor to ever enter Raw or in WWE. Jeff Hardy did it at 16 actually. Fun fact there. But yeah, no, a 17-year-old girl just gets annihilated by Nia Jax. Squash match, totally fine. After that, she cuts a promo, and it was decent enough. I will admit that the way it ended with the whole, you won't be the Empress of tomorrow, you will be the Empress of yesterday, was a bit cheesy, but, come on, the rest of it was okay. Nia Jax still seems kind of intimidating, like a powerhouse, as she should, and I'm waiting to see where this ends up leading us. Then we get Sonya Deville versus Mickie James. The match was whatever. There was a spot where I don't know if Sonya Deville was just really selling a shot to the face, or if it actually did catch her in the nose and actually stunned her a bit there. But other than that, Mickie ends up winning with a quick roll-up, surprise roll-up win. Then Absolution, they jump Mickie James, and then Alexa Bliss comes down and saves Mickie. I think it's brilliant. it's clearly showing that Alexa Bliss, knowing that Plan A failed and she wasn't able to get out of the match, she needs to kind of find some sort of alliance in there so that there's less people focusing on her outright. Maybe she could just stay hidden, work together with somebody, and then strike when the time is right. So very good heel work right there, in my opinion. It's very smart plan. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see where that ends up going. And then after that, we also got the announcement of the second chance Fatal 4-Way that'll be taking place next week on Raw between Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy, Apollo Crews, and Finn Balor. Now, my guess is Finn Balor will be the one to walk out of this match and end up in the chamber. I don't think he'll win it. Like I said, I'm pretty sure Roman's slated to win this no matter who's in there. I don't know how it's going to go. I want to see what they're going to do with Braun. But yeah, I hope Finn gets the last spot. Matt and Bray are just going to be at each other, and it's not going to matter. And I don't know if they'll give it to Apollo Crews. I think he'd put some awesome spots on in the chamber, though, if you give him the chance. So we'll see what happens, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Finn. And then our main event to see who will be the last person out of their little pod in the Elimination Chamber match. We've got John Cena, Elias, and Braun Strowman. I liked the part where John and Elias, even though they've got a little, thing going on against each other, they work together to basically subdue the monster that is Braun Strowman. They end up cracking a guitar over his back. They hit him with the attitude adjustment onto the steel steps. Just really good there. They get back into the ring and start wrestling each other. And there's a while there where you just don't see Braun. Braun's just not there. So Braun then shows back up. He's pissed. Power slams John Cena. He goes to power slam Elias, but Elias slips off the back of him and shoves him out of the ring through the ropes. This gives Elias the chance to cover John Cena and pick up the win. Now, first of all, I'm shocked, because this means that Braun got to look powerful, and John Cena put over Elias in a sense, in a way. Gave a little bit of the rub to him to, give him that last spot in the chamber. Again, very good call. I like it. I'm actually a fan of the way this went down. This also ended with Braun Strowman just going to Power Slam City. It's just it's the next exit past Suplex City. He's just power slamming them both, again and again. The crowd's just wanting one more after, every time, and he's reacting to him as such. You did hear John Cena, barking out, spot orders to Braun, telling him, take his time with it, to make him look more powerful or whatnot. I wish it wouldn't have got picked up on camera because it looked bad. But beyond that, it was a good way to end the show. Braun still looks like a powerhouse. I'm very curious what's going to happen when the chamber rolls around. But yeah, so that's it for Raw. Now let's take a look at SmackDown. And back to our old, song and dance. SmackDown opens up with Shane McMahon coming down to the ring and saying, listen, I don't like the main event that we have tonight. That main event being Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. The winner goes on to face AJ Styles at Fastlane. He comes out, he says he doesn't like it, but he doesn't like it because of the fact that they've been getting so many chances. He has Daniel Bryan come out. The in-ring promo, this was the only time I've been okay with the show's opening this way, because it got a little real, if you will, a little meta, because we had basically, Shane saying, hey, listen, I know you want to be in the ring and you can't, but you're trying to live vicariously through Kevin and Sami. And I just thought that was good. That was good work. This is the first time I've liked the little back and forth. We don't get to hear Daniel's real response to that, because AJ Styles then comes out and goes, listen, I don't care who wins. I'm ready to face whoever wins. But you two need to stop just focusing on those two, because the longer you do that, the more it affects me. The more I have to deal with these shenanigans. There's other people on the roster, etc., etc. And he just tells them that, and then he leaves. That's it. That's the end of his promo, and that's the end of that whole segment, which was totally fine. And then after that, we come back from commercial break, and AJ's just walking in the back, and Shinsuke Nakamura walks up, and he just says, I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania, and then walks away. It's brilliant. I love it. It's genius. Keep doing this. Next is Liv Morgan, flanked by the Riot Squad, going against Charlotte Flair. A lot of it took place in the advert. It was a lot of Charlotte just giving Liv a brutal beating. It also looked a little poorly worked. There was a few. It was tough to tell on the smaller screen. There was a few just looked like botched shots and things like that, botched moments in the match. But that's fine. It is what it is. Charlotte ends up picking up the win after the rest of the Riot Squad is eventually banned from ringside. They get sent off of the ramp, and she makes Liv Morgan tap out to the figure 8. She then signals that she's got 2 more left to go, so I guess she's going to be facing every member of the Riot Squad, and that's her plan. I guess this is her getting revenge for them jumping her. So, not that interested in this right now, I'm going to be honest. Just kind of waiting to see where this ends up leading to once we get to WrestleMania. That's the big thing. Then we get a brief little promo backstage. Kevin Owens comes out of his personal locker room. It seems he comes out and he's asked, will this affect his friendship with Sami Zayn? And he responds, for once, that's a good question. You have a good question for me, because he's always talking about how stupid their questions are. He says, it's not a question for me though. It's a question for Sami, and will he still want to be friends with me after I've beaten him? And I just thought, oh, this is really building towards it, and I really like it. And then after that, we get the Bludgeon Brothers match. They come out and they just squash 2 jobbers, as per usual. It's doing its job. It's making them look like powerhouses and making them look like a legitimate threat, even though partially you have to know that these guys aren't actual competitors really in the ring against them, but it's still doing something. It is making them look strong, and I've liked it. But then after they've won their match, they're about to leave. The Usos, they could have waited to come down and cut their promo until after the Bludgeon Brothers left, but no, they come out a little bit early just to give you that stare down, and the Bludgeon Brothers don't respond. They just grab their hammers and walk away. Beautiful, beautiful work. Can't wait to see this blow up when it finally does. And then after that, they come in the ring. They cut a great promo. Thank God there was none of the lockdown bars thing again. But oh my goodness, so good, really good promo. They kind of used the fact that one of the Usos had some prison time recently, and that really kind of helped force the promo into where it was gonna go. But yeah, no, great promo, and I just awesome promo. Then after that, we get the SmackDown Top 10 that we've been hearing about. I'm not going to run down the list of all the numbers. I don't think it's important enough to be brought up, because obviously number 10 was Ty Dillinger. Why? And then number 1 was AJ Styles. Number 2 was Charlotte Flair. I'm curious what this is supposed to be doing, what it's supposed to mean. There was a time in the past where they had a list like this, and if you were number 1, you were the number 1 contender. They've done stuff like that before, and that made sense. But this is just, it's going to build to something. They're going to use this for some sort of feud down the line. I don't know what they're trying to do with it now, though. It just seems weird. So then we get a United States Championship match between Rusev and Bobby Roode. Now, before I go into anything else, I have been bashing the random words popping up on the screen. The mixed match challenge ones were really cool. Cool. I'm fine with those. But the ones during live taping of SmackDown is just really weird to me. But I gotta admit, if they're gonna get one time right, the time for them to get it right is when Aiden English is singing a song about Rusev for Rusev Day. And you could sing along with the songbird of our generation, and that was really, really good idea. I liked that. That was smart. I wish they'd stop trying to push them as heels. They need to just let them be faces. They dish the city they're in the song. Come on, the crowd it's so over right now. Give him a shot somewhere. You don't even have to make him in the main contention scene. Just give him a fair shot. And based on that sentence alone, you could tell that he did lose this United States title match to Bobby Roode. However, this match went through 2 commercial breaks and was honestly really good. It started out slow. I will say that. A lot of submissions, grapples. There was a bit in the corner where Rusev backed Roode in, and then he steps away from the corner and yells Rusev Day. Roode ends up doing the same thing, doing his glorious pose. Yeah, it was really good. We got a superplex though in the little advert screen. What a waste of a nice big spot for the viewers at home. But that's fine. It was still really good. Awesome match. A lot of good things. There was a lot of reversals towards the end, which was even though it was a little sloppy, I'll admit it was still really good. Yeah, glorious DDT puts away Rusev for the win here. But then after that, out of nowhere again, Randy Orton just jumps in and RKO's everybody. Why though? I'm guessing this means that he's going to be in the United States title scene, but why though? It was just really random. But no, it was fine. It was fine. So Benjamin and Gable start doing a promo. It was cheesy words on screen that bugged me. It just wasn't that great of a promo. They talk about bringing like Prestige or something along those lines back to the tag team division, and they go out and fight the Ascension. Surprisingly longer match than I expected. They do end up picking the win up against the Ascension. It's just, I don't know, that whole segment was just kind of a waste of time to me. So yeah, we get right before Sammy goes out for his match, they catch him back there, and he's asked about if he's still going to be best friends with Kevin after this match. And Sammy specifically states I want to be. I do, but Kevin has to understand that this match, I'm always in his shadow. Kevin's always gotten the opportunities. He's always gotten the titles. It's never been my time, and it needs to be my time now. So I have to take this shot. I have to go for it. And I thought that was really well done. I really like where that's going. Smart move. This leads into our main event: Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Oh my goodness, was this match good. It's just a brutal slobber knocker of a match. Like, Kevin at one point even, stepping out of the ring and being like, whoa, you need to calm down. And, it's a wrestling match, Kevin. This is the way it's supposed to go. Sammy wants this. He's showing you he wants it. And it was just such a really good match. Back and forth assault there. There's a spot where Sami Zayn, he hasn't done it in a while, so it's nice to see it, where he dives between the ropes, from one side of the ring to the, through the turnbuckle on the outside there. Such a cool move, does that into a spinning DDT, and it's an awesome spot. And this leads to him getting into AJ Styles' face, saying how he's coming for the title and stuff, and he spins the chair around, and AJ's had enough, so he attacks them both. I mean, technically Sammy got hit first, which should mean Sammy won, but I won't argue with the booking, I guess. So Daniel Bryan comes out to the top of the ramp after AJ Styles has, obliterated these guys, even at one point diving over the top rope at them both on the outside. Daniel Bryan comes out and goes, well, I feel that both men put on such a phenomenal performance, and since AJ interfered and ruined the outcome of the match, both men will face AJ Styles at Fastlane for the title in a triple threat match. I like it. I'm not sure how it's going to end. I want Styles is going to win, I would imagine. I don't think they'll pull some sort of weird swerve, although I wouldn't be against seeing Nakamura versus Sami Zayn. I just don't think they're going to do something like that. It just would be weird booking, I guess. But, yeah, no, so that's kind of where we end with SmackDown. We find out that that's going to be a triple threat at Fastlane. And I know I didn't say it at the beginning of the video, but mixed match tag match there for the tournament took place. It was Rose Gold of Mandy Rose and Goldust. Nice little combo there. Going against Uso Married, which is Naomi and Jimmy Uso. Good match. I don't have a problem with any of the matches they've been putting on in this. It's got that campy feel to it to me. And there was a poll. Daniel Bryan ended up being the special guest referee, which was cool. It was nice to see Daniel Bryan out there. Yeah, no, it was plenty good. We do end up getting Naomi and Jimmy picking up the win there, and they move on in the tournament. All in all, another good match for this thing. I kind of like it. Call me a sucker. And then after that, 205 Live. I'm not going to go into every little detail. I will talk about the matches in the tournament that we have going on. Kalisto ends up beating Lince Dorado in a very good match. Both of these matches were phenomenal. Honestly, it's really good. I don't talk about news in the business on my channel very often. Very rarely, just usually in passing. But Triple H is now running 205 Live. Vince McMahon has stepped away from it as of roughly mid-January. He's letting Hunter He's letting, I'm not going to call him his real name. He's letting Triple H run the show. So Triple H is now in charge, and he wants, instead of it being focused on characters, he wants it more focused on their in-ring ability, which I think is the good call. The cruiserweights put on impressive matches with good spots, and it's been showing. I'm waiting to see how this tournament plays out. Speaking of, yes, so Kalisto did end up picking up the win in his match, and then Roderick Strong from NXT went against Hideo Itami. Hideo, sorry. God, not Hideo Kojima and Hideo Itami. Not the same guy. Better make sure I fix that. Anyway, Hideo Itami, they go in a match, again, a very good match. There was a wicked backbreaker moment. Like, oh, it just looked brutal. Oh, it gives me chills. Very good match. And going into it, I assumed that Itami would pick up the win, because Itami's always looked good in the division. He's kind of been always there since, like, the division kind of 205 Live started. But surprisingly, Roderick Strong picks up the win here, and I'm not against it. I think it was a good twist, in my opinion, a twist. So yeah, no, he's moved on in the tournament into the round of 8, if you will. So yeah, no, I'm excited for 205 Live. I think it can become a better show, and I think Triple H is going to be able to guide it that way. But what do you think? Do you think Triple H will be kind of like the savior of 205 Live and make this, a better show, or is this just not going to really change much? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this. I also do other random reviews. I do music. There's a lot of stuff that I'm doing, and eventually I'm going to branch out even further, so that's all you can do is keep moving up. And with that being said, I've been Captain Solomon, and I'll see you guys next week.